So last time we left you all in the parking lot of the club. You had been sending in various status updates to HQ, but some things you hadn't looked at or gone through. I know Requiem had gotten a data chunk, but hasn't done anything yet. And
my goober?
Your goober.
Thank you.
So you were all there. It is early in the afternoon. You had your late morning at Porto's. You went into the club. You've done things. What would a status update look like for submission?
Just like basically our report so far?
Yeah, what would your report look like at this point?
I mean, it would just be a pretty concise, itemized list of the scans we've taken. The data will all be attached to that, anything that we've compiled, and then kind of almost like bullet points of the important information that we've picked up, like the actual summoning circle laid into the floor, the Union hypertech built into the sound system that's messing with the dimensional barriers, that sort of stuff.
Yeah, the sigil, a zip drive of all the surveillance footage.
Yep.
What about the goober?
I'll probably upload the goober to some sort of, terminal to transmit over to them.
Okay.
Also would ask to run a background info on that meeting, the leader of that meeting that we...
Beacon Freitag?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I
Definitely would have
absolutely...
required a background check on him.
Yeah, and I would have given all the names. Morrow Raven Press, Miss Alicia Jones from Payroll, Mr. Alexander, the general manager. Although we were aware of the fact that technocratic technology had already been used here, I would ask if this... Didn't we already confirm this was a known operation for the...
No, we haven't. That was the thing. We assumed it was, but as it went on, it's like, now hang on, because this is hypertech, but it's kind of like off, and we're kind of suspecting a rogue element might be doing it.
Then yes, would it attempt to confirm if this was a known operation or not? Yep.
Do we want to be more subtle about it and just say, hey, please let us know if there have been any operations in this area?
I don't understand this subtlety you speak of.
Perfect.
Both neither the professor nor B-Dave comprehend what it is that you're asking me.
Belladonna, would you like to approach this with a little more subtlety?
I would, because we're not sure if anybody is acting as a double agent at this point. We don't know if anybody that we're giving information to is to be trusted. I think at this point, we need to be as careful as possible with the given information. Give them what they need to know, but don't give them everything they need to know yet.
If we can't trust management, who can we trust?
That break your brain a little.
The issue isn't necessarily management. It's everybody who's going to handle the paperwork in between.
Yes. I could see there are on occasion sloppy assets, even in the midst of the perfection of the technocratic order.
Mm-hmm.
Sloppy assets is what I call, entry level.
I was gonna say there's
sloppy assets.
Whew. Yeah, that's a good one. There's data entry. Someone in data entry might.
So I can't remember. Did we end up talking to the creator of the blueprints? I feel like we were looking at that. Who built this, the benefactor of this, this
we
building.
Looked into it. We know that Carnivan Entertainment was the company that owns the club, but not necessarily built it. Yeah, I don't know if we've dug into that specifically yet.
No, you have not.
Okay.
But during your exchange and your sending of data in, there's a strange switching. Wouldn't say a glitch, but it's definitely like a please stand by. And things get routed to somewhere else.
Alec Jacobian is our handler, correct? Alex Jacobian?
Yeah.
Or is that yeah, okay. Just making sure. I'm going through my own notes. A lot of times the things I write are very cryptic that made sense to me then and don't make sense to me now.
Yep.
And you're saying we're being routed away from Alex, though?
Yes, you are.
Okay.
Is it being routed as far as we can tell somewhere legit? Or
Yeah,
can
yeah.
we see where it's going? Yeah.
Yeah, like a switchboard is like, please stand by.
Got it. Okay.
And then someone comes on and says, hello, my name's Emily Burr. I'm with the syndicate, and I will be handling you from here forward. Mr. Jacobian has been reassigned.
Permanently reassigned.
He's being checked for compatibility with his position.
As of when?
As of immediately.
Well,
Is it customary to ask why?
Well, this would be an issue for evaluation and processing to determine if he's handled you as assets appropriately.
I am but a humble agent, but I feel like Mr. Jacobian's oversight had been stellar heretofore, and we have uncovered a number of curious happenings at his behest about the dimensional anomalies that were recently detected.
That's understood, but you're being requested to desist and detach from this assignment. Effective immediately.
Is there some sort of message of the day, like password or something that I can give expressly as a test of this person? To be like, well, the message of the day, the word of the day is pancakes, or something like that, but I give the wrong one on purpose.
You're intentionally giving her the wrong one, or you're trying to check to see if she gives you like a counter that is...
I'm going to, I guess I'll give the right one and see if she gives me the right reply or not.
Sure, she'll play along and she'll give you the right reply.
Curious.
Huh.
Where should we report to then?
I'm pulling up some additional information right now to find out what you can be tasked on. She clicks on some things and you hear, here we go. We have a security and containment potential that is nearby that we think we can utilize you as assets for. Media sources and law enforcement are now investigating a variety of events that have a high probability of a reality deviation among the homeless and low-income populations in your vicinity. So please perform a discrete insertion to ascertain the threat level and whether there's any relevance to the mission that you were just on. We have data regarding people claiming that there's been some miraculous beneficiaries in the area at a homeless shelter.
All right.
Is it normal for someone to be reassigned like this? Asking out of character?
Out of character, the Technocracy doesn't fool around with people that they think are not performing to capability or are a potential threat.
Interesting.
So whether you get the feeling that that poor guy is a scapegoat or really did something wrong is kind of up to you.
Given the fact that we found potential Technocracy hypertech just out in the wild, something's up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like this.
Yeah. All right. Well, understood. We'll take that new assignment into effect immediately.
Great. Secure the area. If there's a situation that needs to be stabilized, please do so. If there's any collateral impact, contain it. And then if you need to perform any sort of countermeasures or psyops, at least you have Agent Nightshade there who can do that.
Perfect.
At this point, would I be able to scrub any internet news articles or anything that has to do with this club or the goings on of it?
Yeah, you could start doing that kind of work.
I'd like to go into my phone and just try to, like, any keywords that come up about this club, to just scrub that from being able to, from search engines.
Jacking up their SEO.
New. How the goth kid's gonna find the club?
So you're not going to be able to completely remove. What that's going to allow you to do is change. So you can redirect and blame someone else or change the details of what it was.
I'll change the details to make it seem like somebody hyperventilated, and in the hysteria caused mass panic.
So you're going to be doing more to make it not look like there was anything supernatural involved.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's going to be your Arete roll. That's just correspondence 2. So your difficulty is going to be a 5. And we'll leave it at that.
So roll higher than 5?
5 or better.
5 or better.
Okay, that is 2 successes.
Great. You send in like a little viral algorithm that does like a botnet attack and starts scrubbing and changing the data. Anywhere it finds anyone who had posted anything that was closer to reality, you start changing it.
Yeah, you ever see those news clips where it'll be like a bunch of different networks, but they'll say the same phrase over and over and over again? That's pretty much what I want across the board, of all repeating the same information.
Okay. And then B. Dave?
I would like to perform the cardinal sin of taking out my glasses and attempt to look into the future of the outside of this club. I've already gained a glimpse of us fighting side by side with strangers here. I want to see if there's any sign of a technocratic cleaning team that is going to show up here in the near future. Now that we've been told to leave, is another team being sent in or not?
Okay.
Nice.
Go ahead and make your roll.
Oh, or I guess however my success. Well, what's the difficulty number? Sorry.
That's vulgar. So that's going to be +4. And
I mean, is it though?
is it though? Yeah, it's still vulgar. Yeah, it's just vulgar without witnesses.
Oh,
That's going to be difficulty 6.
That is going to be 2 successes then. I got 2 6s on the die.
And I believe you get a little bit of paradox for that.
I mean, do I though?
Yeah, we'll skip it for now. It's fine.
I rolled to disbelieve.
plot twist, you're fighting another B-Dave. Which one is the real B-Dave?
No, we're not going to do that. Yeah, that would only be one dot. So let's see. That's your 3rd. I know we didn't track last time. So
I mean, is it?
Yeah, it is. How far, are you trying to look into it? Are you just trying to scrub as much as possible?
Well, I'm aware that within the week we're back here fighting. I'm also aware that looking too far into the future is generally problematic. So I'm really only about the next 24 hours or so.
Okay.
Because I know we come back eventually, but in the next day-ish.
Sure. Yeah, 2 successes is more than enough for that. Like you said before, it's like 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
You see not enough to move the whole club, but you see some moving trucks.
Mm-hmm.
Like just a U-Haul, like they're going to move out something. And you see some white panel vans that would be more associated with agents doing some kind of...
Roughly when?
the moving is going to be sooner, within the week.
Mm-hmm.
Full cleanup. Looks like it could be after any confrontations that you have.
Well, I don't know if this is good for us or bad for us, but I have a powerful hunch that everything's going to get cleaned up in a few days.
You want to
Okay.
do a sting operation?
Based on my previous, shall we say, hypothesis, I am already aware of a certain altercation that will take place on this premises with us and some strangers that I still don't quite recognize. But after that, it does look like a cleanup team comes in. Oh, the building appears to still be standing. That's got to be good. I see no red sky, no rain of blood, no apocalypse. Generally positive, I suppose.
Fantastic.
Okay.
That's
good.
good.
No, I'm absolutely certain that we will be utterly successful. Yes,
No.
I can say with total authority and certainty, it's going to work out fine.
Perfect.
Okay.
So our current assignment is to go check out some possible RD at a homeless shelter, right?
Yes. Miracles, they say.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'll try to be as useful as I can. This is a little bit more out of my wheelhouse, but we'll do what we got to do.
Yes. Oh, Agent Requiem, will you be wearing the mask when we go in?
I don't know. I'm a little afraid of frightening some of our more vulnerable members of the population here. I think I'll keep it in my jacket at first.
Yes, quite. No, this makes total sense. And also, well, I suppose you always have a very presentable face on when we go in these places like this, Agent Nightshade. Yes.
I might want to. I'll see if I'm sure in my bag I have different outfits in the van for different occasions.
What would
I
you like to
assume.
do?
I'm assuming if we're doing some undercover work, I presume we don't want to roll in suits. That might be a little intimidating.
You are a black suit. You can do that. Intimidation is something that you wear with utter perfection. But it is
Depends
up
on
to
the
you.
cover.
No, but
Could
is
be
it helpful in this
Could be
situation?
a health
is what
department
I'm
thing.
saying.
Yeah, it depends on the approach you want to take.
And also whether or not Agent Requiem's credentials function properly this time. It might be of some use to us.
Oh, okay.
I think
So
they'll
we're
work
going-
this time.
Yeah, you
We're
thought they'd
going
work
in
last
on-
time.
Gotcha
This is
there.
true, but I mean, it's probability, right? Failed once, chances of failing again are
Higher.
higher, maybe the same, but I'd like to think smaller.
Oh, I apologize, Agent Nightshade. You were still pontificating.
I was just wondering if you think the authoritative approach is going to work out just fine, cool. But if you think that having any sort of authoritative approach is maybe might backfire on us when trying to seek information, let's discuss that now.
Oh, no, please continue, sir.
Depends on where you want to put pressure, right? I think if you want to talk to the admins, then authority might work in your favor. If you want to talk to the folks who are using the services at the shelter, authority is not the way to go.
That's what I'm thinking.
They did mention something miraculous. I myself, I'm a healer of not insignificant skill. I could come and say that I'm a doctor there to take a look at people.
Okay, so
We
we'll work on both sides of this.
Sure.
Sounds like a plan.
We could buy some folks some decent hot lunches and see if we can get them chatty.
Not a bad idea.
like
If,
a good
if they
idea.
think
Yeah.
there are miracles going around, I'm sure that they're going to chatter about it.
And I wouldn't mind stopping by that place we went to this morning.
Oh, yes, Portos. Life-changing, isn't it?
It's pretty good.
It
Yes.
was not
Never
bad.
disappoints.
It's yes, potato balls. Yes. I think I had shotgun last time. Would it be greedy of me to ask for it a second time?
All you, buddy.
Be my guest.
Oh. And he like very much like hops up in the van very cheerfully.
Okay. Up Vineland you go to Sherman Way. It's even a little more industrial than where you've been. You're kind of in the flight path for the landing aircraft at Burbank. So you can find the location. It's just off the road. And when you get there, you see a lot of happy people. It's not morose, considering their circumstances, that the volunteers have more than enough things to give out. Food, clothing. All the bedding looks new and clean. And everyone looks well cared for.
This
It's
was a pleasant surprise.
First off, nice.
Yeah.
yes.
There
The work
wouldn't
is
happen-
proceeding.
Sorry, yeah. There wouldn't happen to be any of those brochures that we saw in the nightclub being passed around, would there?
Did you take the magazine or the brochure?
I
Or both.
probably, yeah, if there was a bunch of them, I would have taken both. But if there was only one of each, I would have taken something that they wouldn't have known would have gone missing. So at minimum, I'd have taken the brochure.
Okay, you've got them both, but no, you don't see them here. Nora?
Oh, just saying, like, if we were, especially since we were trying to do background checks, I think we would have taken any information we can gather at that point. Do I sense that anybody's outward emotions are different from what they're really feeling?
That's a good question. That would be a mind one effect.
Mm-hmm.
How would you like to process that information?
So scanning around, I'm assuming I have some sort of government appointed app scanning biometrics of facial expressions. Yes, within my eye. Scanning biometrics of facial expressions, very subtle, and matching that to any sort of detection of heart rate, lining all of those up together.
That would require life, but everything else, your mind scan would be enough to do that.
Okay.
So that's a mind one effect. So that's going to be difficulty 4.
Okay. So I roll 1 die, or do I roll the 3 of mine?
All
that I have?
3.
All 3. Okay. That is 3 successes.
Everything seems to match. People are actually happy, and they feel like they are the beneficiaries of a gift. I mean, people aren't happy that they're homeless or on hard times, but under the circumstances, things could be a lot worse.
Well, guys, everything seems to check out so far.
Place seems to be really well funded.
It does, surprisingly so. I mean, doing, better these days with everything happening here.
Does this place seem abnormally well funded? I'm not familiar with the area so much. I don't know if any of you have a better read on the place and if this kind of stands out.
If you're asking me, you're going to know that this is, from a setting standpoint, this is extremely unusual. I mean, you get the feeling that there's a lot of good people doing good things here, and she's going to get that from her mind scans. That the people doing the work and the people receiving what they are all very appreciative and very happy to be there. But this is unusual. Mm-hmm. This level of of goodness, of extreme goodness in the world of darkness. I mean, much less in our world, but especially within the world of darkness, this is a bright spot.
Yeah, there's no photo ops to be had. It just seems odd. This doesn't seem like it was for the cameras.
You see the professor very slowly rotates around and looks at all of you for a second, and he looks sad and he says, I realize we have a job to do, but it would be so terrible to perhaps let this one go for just a little while before we come back and halt the deviation that seems to be so bountifully blessing these people.
I think we need to figure out exactly what the deviation is first, and then we can make that determination. I mean, it may not be directly affecting what's going on here.
I suppose. And then you see right when you say that, he just like opens the door of the van and hops out and is like, excuse me, friends. Hello. Hello.
There he goes.
Who are you approaching?
When I just hold my hand up and say hello, hello, I just see if anybody looks at me, and that's the person I home in on.
I'm sure somebody's going to. You don't look completely. You look somewhat out of place.
Are there any young people here?
Oh, I'm sure there's young people.
You see, the professor hops out, is like, hello, hello. Oh, no deal. And hops right back in the van and closes the door. It's like, there's, how do I explain it? A troubling element out there.
Are you talking about the volunteers?
Some of them.
They're just kids trying to get high school credits. I mean,
yes, but that's how they lure you into ruin. And you see, he pulls out a very big handgun. And like,
Whoa. Whoa.
What? Put the piece away.
What do you got against? What do you got against?
To something.
Really?
This changed gears real fast. All right, just put the gun down. Just.
Yeah, this is not the place
Out of
to
sight.
do it.
Out of sight. At least for the moment.
Yeah, but within reach, friend. Within reach.
Within reach.
another professor. Who gave the professor a gun?
Iteration X.
I am perhaps maybe of reduced utility, at least here externally. I shall surveil from afar.
I just look out and like, I assure you they just want to do their dances and challenges online.
Can I
Nothing to worry about.
could I like use forces to like amplify the sound through like a parabolic mic and like pick up what they're talking about and turn it on a radio to show the professor that this is just a normal.
We did establish this is a surveillance van. We probably just have a parabolic mic, right?
Pick up a parabolic mic and point it out the front windshield.
No, that's how it starts. They talk about their tweetograms and their dance challenges. No. There is a code. It is insipid. It is hidden. They just want you to lower your defenses so that they will pounce. Everyone knows that young people are filthy and chaotic. Two things I cannot abide by.
Listen, I agree with you on that. However, I don't think there's any subliminal message in the dances they're doing. Trust me, if there were, I'd be making them do it.
That's true. You would be the author and architect of such subliminal imagery. Okay. You all go first, and while they're distracted, I will attempt to slip past.
Absolutely reasonable.
Yep.
Well, Belladonna, I think this is your wheelhouse. How would you like to approach?
I'm kind of gonna go. This is gonna sound super terrible, but I'm a terrible person in this game. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm going to. I'm gonna do the thing that in in this game. I'm going to do that thing that celebrities do where they dress really casual when they're out doing their charity work because they want to seem approachable and normal. So that's what I'm doing. I will say that they don't know that my jeans are $500. They don't know that my tank top is at least $200. They don't know that at all. They just know that, like, when they look at me, they feel like I'm just a normal humans.
Well met. I'm your average American Yankee Doodle dandy called Daytona. Jackie Daytona. And I'm here to tell you about Jackie Daytona's clothing store for real humans. That's right. I have a new business endeavor designed to help you secure a human disguise for whenever the shit hits the wind. It will make you completely unrecognizable. We're located in beautiful Pennsylvania because it sounds like Transylvania, and we all know that sounds cool. I've taken over the local hot topic when the owner mysteriously disappeared. Because I killed him. Come in today to secure the chic look that will have all the real humans raving from Staten Island all the way to Tucson, Arizona about your tastefully muted garb. Have a great day, Tona. Cut. All right, stop filming. No, that's it. Single take. No, I have to go. Nadja's waiting for me, and these lights are going to melt me. Bat!
Instead of the $20 jeans and $10 tank top that they could have gotten at Target.
Yeah, that looks exactly the same.
But it's not the same.
Different brand.
Okay. So you all get out.
Yep.
And where do you want to approach? Or who?
Very apprehensively, but the professor does. And you see when he gets out and you guys are going, he goes, we're on a mission. We have orders. We have to accomplish the mission. I cannot let the team down. What if something terrible would have happened because I failed in my duties? No, focus, man. We are good. We are built for this. Let's go. Ready.
Let's
Ready.
Yeah, let's stick
You
together.
can do this.
Yeah?
You got this, Prof.
You got this. I believe in you. I do that fake, like, I turn on the celebrity thing and I put my hand on his shoulder. I'm like, I believe in you.
You've realized that's a mind to effect.
Can we do this to each other?
Yes.
Yeah.
As long as he's not countering it or you're not doing anything that...
She's being kind to me. I have no interest in resisting whatsoever.
Yeah, like if you want to try and calm him down and de-static his mind, you can do that.
Yeah, we're doing this. I'm going to be the soothing. What is it? What are those brainwave frequencies that people listen to go to sleep?
Like Hemi singing stuff.
Yeah.
Delta waves.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I'm the delta waves. Like my voice just kind of hits that voice and modulation thing where
Yep.
storyteller.
and you're
Yes.
just a purring kitten.
So I myself, the professor, consciously has no problem with this, but my avoidance of children is an actual flaw I've got. They trigger his PTSD. So you tell me how difficult it is for him to just go with it. Because of course he'd love to calm down. It's not always that simple. So you tell me if I resist unconsciously.
Well, if you're not resisting magically, then her effect would probably last for a scene.
Yeah.
Nice.
He doesn't fight it.
Considering that, so like base successes, if you did not have those kinds of things, I might say might be good enough for a chapter or a story, or we could even make it time based. But I think under the circumstances, scene is probably where I would draw the line.
We'll just say, after you do this, which is probably completely, clearly superficial and pretentious to everybody but me, He's just, I hope my uncharacteristic outburst has not overly hampered my courtship prospects, ma'am.
You're gonna be fine. It's just a little work nerves. It's fine. We're going into a new thing. You weren't prepared for it. They just sprung this up on us like right now.
Yes.
You're not controlling,
You got this.
and you're doing it totally coincidental. So difficulty is 5, and
Okay.
two successes would give you a scene of duration.
Okay.
You're like botched. Click. Blah, 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 blah.
Oh,
You
God,
know,
no.
no witnesses.
I rolled an 8, an 8, and a 10.
Ooh, nice.
The 10 explodes. Roll it again. Let's see.
It's probably not going to matter if we're linking
Nah.
it to your flaw,
All right.
but three successes would be good for a day.
Excellent.
So she's
You are
basically
calm.
essentially suppressing his flaw for a short time.
Yes.
That's
Cool.
awesome.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Good.
It's just I've seen some things in the field, you know.
He kind of like chuck him on the shoulder. Who hasn't? All right, let's go do this.
Yeah, you got this.
Let's go.
Yes. He's still very much dirty look at the children as we walk in. Though.
You can still side eye. I don't
Yeah, I
think
can-
that would.
It's still
Yeah.
there.
Mean mug the young people as we go in.
Oh boy.
So are they all outside, or some of them are outside, or like in line for like a soup kitchen sort of thing?
That's exactly what's going on. And outside, you've seen the people in line and the people leaving. And
Okay.
you're seeing some of the volunteers triaging people. Once you go inside, you see people getting the disbursement, so to speak. You see new shipments of cots and mattresses and blankets that they're all dealing with. You see boxes of clothing that are all brand new. And you see where they're giving out food as they move in and out of the kitchen area. You see lots of food in the back. Fresh food, not just cans of stuff, canned corn and things like that no one ever gives a can opener for. They're getting fresh food.
I would like to use primal utility to see is there a flow of quintessence in here that is unusual? Like, is there any sort of mystical
Resonance.
yeah.
Anything?
Go ahead, make your roll.
Put my glasses on. That is 2 8s and a 5.
All right. You don't see any flow from, say, the building itself, or even necessarily any of the people. You can definitely get a sense that the things that they're giving out have a resonance. They're all there, they're all real, but they all have a feeling as if they've been conjured.
Friends, I just sort of tap the glasses and I say, I'm wary of looking too far ahead or in reverse, but I definitely detect a certain, shall we say, a soupçon of quintessence having been sprinkled on these wares,
Mm.
On the food?
on the all of it.
On the all of it.
Or
It
you
is,
had- You got the vibe that they were created, right? Conjured.
I'm just trying to be vague because I don't know who's listening to us. but
Fair
yeah. It may not originally be of this world.
Was manufactured locally.
Very locally.
Right. That's a little more disturbing.
Do you think it's coming from somebody who's working here or a benefactor?
To be clear, you said I don't feel any like particularly powerful sources of quintessence, like somebody's conjuring in the next room or anything.
Oh no, not at all. It's all been done. And this is just the allotment of everything that had been done.
Perhaps, Belladonna, you might inquire of the providence of this food, and that might help point us in the right direction.
These sorts of places generally have to keep pretty decent records, right?
Quite.
Yeah. So would we be able to find somebody to talk to, or we could get records on where this was all donated from? Because they must have to keep track of it.
Right.
When she says that, I elbow Requiem and I'm all like, do you have your credentials ready?
Yeah, so I'm looking around, I'm thinking Requiem probably is like 1 degree removed from looking like a homeless person anyway. So I'm getting like Peter Parker in Into the Spider-Verse, where he's got the sweatpants on and the coat. And I want to hand the professor my credentials and say, I want to do this one the old-fashioned way. Why don't you take this and see what you can do here? I mean, you have those goggles, and I can poke around and look for something and at least get a sample of this food to take back.
Looks down at the credential and just very slowly moves it right over to Belladonna and says, I don't think I'll be doing too much of the diplomacy today.
I mean, don't you think they'd recognize me, though?
Yeah, yes,
Also, I
of
changed.
course recognized you instantly. Surely they all must.
Plus, I'm in my casual wear, so I don't know if...
Well, from what I understand, the way this device functions, it will display a relevant credential. I don't know, press pass.
Oh, is that how that works?
And I look at Requiem. Is that how this works?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you got to tap the screen a few times.
All right, I'll give it a shot.
Okay. So what do you want it to look like?
I will say that I'll have it be a press pass. I have been appointed by the LA Times to do a piece on this shelter because they're doing such great work. I have found out about it. I would like to also donate. I want to let the world know about this place and how they could help.
Perfect.
That's beautiful. Okay. This is a wonder. It's its own magic device with its own magic pool of verite. So you get to roll 4 dice to make it work.
All right.
And it uses a quintessence per charge, and it started with 10, and he blew half of it on
Oh God.
the paradox, and then he's used it once. So it's got 4 charges left.
Okay, so what do I have to roll higher then?
It's a forces 2, prime 2 illusion with a mind 2 adjustment. So yeah, that's going to be 2 plus 3. It's going to be a difficulty of 5. With 4 dice.
All right, that's 2 successes then.
Okay, that's enough for a scene.
You re-rolled the 10, correct?
I did. I just rolled really poorly on the other ones.
Okay. All right, you've got a press pass from the LA Times.
All right, so I'm going to look for the main offices of this place, whoever seems like they're in charge.
Sure, you can find that fairly easily.
Okay.
And
then who is it that I approach?
it's a short man. His name is Ramon, and he's obviously busy doing work. Yes, what can
what
I
I'll
do?
If I see these, I'll just pop my head in to the door. Hi, Ramon. It's me, Belladonna. I'm sure that I contacted you. Like, I know that I got a response from somebody who works here, but I have this press pass from the LA Times. We're doing a piece on the shelter because we heard we're doing such great things. Is it okay if we just kind of walk around?
Sure. Do you want to help too, or no?
I would love to. Actually, I was wondering because we saw all of the food donations out there. I think that is amazing. I would love to highlight the donors who have helped in this situation. Of course, I'll keep the anonymous ones anonymous, but if I could have that for my records, because the LA Times would just love to know who's behind all of this.
He flips through some things and then sticks them on a Xerox copier. Sure, I'll get that for you. And then...
You're amazing. Thank you so much.
But the one that you want says anonymous. And when he hands you it at the top, where there's a big itemization, they don't know who it was.
Oh, wow.
Between you and me, do you know anything about this?
Well, I know a little something, but the person who was here that night and did the receiving said it was a very beautiful man, almost angelic in countenance. And of course,
Really?
we always called them our angels. So I think it might have just been a joke.
Huh. But no name or no address, no contact info. It's kind of strange.
No, we get plenty of anonymous donors. By the grace of God, people like to do good when they can.
Oh, yes. And I just fake, I don't know how to do this, but I'll do that. Uh-huh. So how long ago was this? I'm looking at the paper.
Oh, this was Sunday.
Sunday. Is there a time?
It was early in the morning. Like 7 or 8 a.m.
Okay, and you say that this hasn't been this is a brand new donor? It's not a recurring one that you've gotten?
Yeah, this has not happened before.
How tall was he?
Oh, I don't know. We don't have the stickers on
Like, just-
next to the doors like at the 7-Eleven.
I know, but like if you saw him,
I
like
didn't
is he
see.
kind of tall, like really tall? No?
I didn't see.
Was
Darn.
the person who was working who took the donation, are they here today?
Oh yes, she's over at the food, ladling out food.
Great. Okay, well maybe we could just have a word with her, but thank you so much. You've been such a help.
Well, great. We're so happy that you're here.
I'm so delighted. Things like this are so dear to my heart, and I'm going to make sure that you guys get the best article written.
That's great. We would love to see more donors like this one.
You'll get them, I promise.
Thank you.
As I walk out the door.
Dave, you have a finger up, and I'm assuming it's not for your nose.
Something
Nope.
looming.
Not currently. I would like to use life to look at some of the homeless people and see if any of them have been healed lately.
Okay.
If any of them had something wrong with them that is no longer wrong with them.
Difficulty 4.
That will be dose successes.
Dose successes show you that your supposition is 100% correct. If I were to copy and paste my notes from my little cheat sheet, you would realize that has happened.
Almost like I've done this once or twice, Michaela.
Have you ever DM'd a Mancha before?
I lean over to Rains and I say, Rains, again, I apologize for before, but I seem to have regained my wits about me somewhat, and these people have been miraculously restored. That fellow there and that lady and that person over there. And I kind of, if I've got a sense, I'm just like, couldn't walk, congenital heart failure, healed, pneumonia of some sort, restored.
Wow.
Most of what you've noticed are, unfortunately, things like pneumonia and the stuff for simply being out. Maybe a case of syphilis or something.
Right.
But every once in a while, you do notice someone whose pattern has been changed in a significant way. In such the case, like heart or
Cured cancer, that sort of stuff.
yeah, that they didn't even know about, that kind of thing.
Wow.
Would whoever I feel has had the most drastic alteration to their pattern, I especially am like, and that fellow has nearly been reconstructed.
Well, this is getting, man. Yeah. Well, good thinking. Good scan. I'm starting to feel what you were putting down earlier. This is one I might not really want to stop, but If it is as good as it seems on the surface.
It cannot be with so many young people about.
Yeah, fair enough.
Well, perhaps Requiem might have his finger on the pulse of these people a bit more, and if he doesn't, we can always inquire to some of these miraculous recipients the method by which they've been restored.
Justice, what are you doing?
So Requiem would be probably standing in line to get some food and chatting it up with some of the other people in there. Talking about like, hey, where'd all this stuff come from? Or you're looking pretty good. Like, what's been going on? And like, meanwhile, like I would hold up the styrofoam box and like my EMF reader and be like, beep, 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 like scanning whatever they're handing me.
Okay, so there's a couple of things to kind of take in. First off, the food is better than what you're used to, but not as good as Porto's.
Yeah, well, what is as
Fair.
good as Porto's? Let's be real there.
And if we're going to keep advertising for them, I've got to reach out.
Yeah.
Second, most of the people who have been healed for some of the things, they're not even aware of it. You know, if someone had, you know, an early stage of cancer or whatever, they didn't know. They were never in a position to have had medical treatment or go in. A few people say, yeah, my cough is cleared up. I feel more invigorated than I did before. I'm really looking forward to what's coming up. I think I can get a job. Or do you have mind or no?
No, I don't have mind. I'm wondering if we have some way, like, do we have earpieces that we're relaying this information
I'm
to each other in
assuming
real
so.
time?
And I'm gonna walk back something real quick to Nora.
Yeah.
When you were doing your mind checks, you saw less mental illness than you would have associated with the conditions.
One quick question that I had pinging around. I just don't want to forget it. I'm sorry to interrupt.
Okay.
When you mentioned the timestamp of the fellow who came by to make all these donations, how did that correspond to the dimensional incursion from the club?
Day after.
Day after. Okay.
All right, so back to Justice. That's their health. That's their food. And what else do you want to know?
Yeah, I'm trying to see, did these people interact with someone? Like this person matching the recipient? Did they all interact with the person physically, or is it maybe the food they're eating is healing them?
The food's not doing anything, and when you scan it, it has a primal pattern that looks like it's been built recently. Like, this did not come from a produce company, you know, that kind of thing. For a few people that you talk to, though, and let's do a skill check. Let's use charisma and empathy. Let me guess, those are your two unless you've got something else that you want to use, you know.
Thinking investigation?
Okay. We can try that.
You crave violence.
Yeah. Charisma and investigation. Can I combine those? Okay, so 5 of these.
Yeah.
Let's see. It is 3 8s, a 2, and a 3. So 3 successes.
That's lovely. You get 3 people that, as you talk to them, all kind of share an experience about feeling better. And as you go from one to the other, their descriptions of the individual change.
Lovely.
For one thing, the first 2 people, one is white, one is Hispanic. They both describe the person as being of their race and very beautiful. Normal human, they're expecting this person to be human. But when they say who they saw, it was, I can't put my finger on it, but they were very beautiful. And then the third person actually says the word luminous.
Interesting choice of words. Well, thank you. Yeah, and I pretend to eat some of the food and say, mine. I put it in a test tube in my jacket. And then I walk over to my friends, friends. And I
You have
stand
no
next
friends,
to
do
y'all
you?
and I say, did you all get that? And I
Do recall I saw luminous beings engaged with us in the basement of the club in a couple of days hence.
I'm assuming I've made my way back to the group at this point after saying.
Mm-hmm. With you talking to the people that you've talked to in the back, you understand that one of the volunteers has heard of something similar happening down in Toluca Lake at a church.
When?
Considering this was still Monday afternoon, this was all yesterday. And this may still be ongoing.
We might need to go
Yes.
check out this church.
Yes, this food was just delivered here at random. No one saw the person. Is that what we're hearing? I guess besides them being luminous, and you see he sort of rubs his temples and he says some of the peering back and forth through the veil is starting to, shall we say, compound. The headaches are increasing, but I could attempt to get my own eyewitness account of who this person was.
Don't push that just yet. Let's have a look around, see if there's any actual cameras we might be able to tap into the footage from.
Also, has this place been, I mean, just like the club that we found out that they were here before us? Do we sense any of that here?
That's a good question.
Any of
Who? Oh, the Technocracy?
Yeah.
any
Technocracy.
hypertech?
Do we sense any hypertech here like we had last time?
Haven't seen any evidence.
The Justice made an investigation roll, but he was really dealing with people. If you're looking around, I'm going to say that, no, you don't see any hypertech.
I just want to see if there's the same pattern between both places.
No, there's, other than the time and the fact that they're both kind of along the same road, that this is due north of the other place.
Are there any security cameras or surveillance cameras, anything in the area that might have picked up any of these interactions?
There's probably a security camera, maybe outside, but it's a family center for helping the homeless. They're not really worried about anything other than making sure no one breaks in.
Fair enough. Looks like there's no mundane tech to piggyback off of. If we want to get eyes on, you might have to do another temporal scan, but I feel like we have a couple other leads we can check on if you don't want to push it.
Yeah, I want to ask Reigns if he thinks it's appropriate to check the gauntlet here.
Yeah, it's probably worth taking a look. The only issue is I don't have any temporal science, any temporal mechanics training, so I wouldn't be able to look back to the moment in question. But I might be able to tell. We might be able to tell if there's some damage to it still. If there was.
Yeah, I'm thinking like if it's open right now or thin right now, if we could, close it back up.
Well, I mean, I can scan it. I think that's more your wheelhouse if you think you can reinforce it. But why don't we have a look, see if there's anything like that we need to worry about.
Yeah, that sounds good. Okay, so I roll my dimensional science plus my arete.
You always just roll your arete.
Just roll my arete. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, so I did get a 1 and a 10 and a 2, and then the 10 is now a 4. So is that 2 successes or 1 success?
It is 1 success. The only thing that you can tell is the gauntlet is there, it's in place, but it has been affected. You cannot tell how. It doesn't.
something's gone wrong here.
It doesn't feel like a breach, and it doesn't feel like it's been torn, so it's not that. So it's something you can't put your finger on.
So just on a mechanics level, is that a degree of success thing or a path of inquiry thing? Like, would it be worth me trying to see if I could get a better read?
That was a mechanics thing.
Okay.
So
we'd
you
have to
can
come
try
up
if
with-
you'd like.
Okay. Yeah, sure. I'll try and see if I can get some backup data to fill in the gaps. Nope. Too much interference. That's straight up 0 successes. 2 8s, 2 1s.
Yeah. And I think when you're doing... That's fine. That's fine. So too much interference. You're potentially noticing the same, but you're not getting any new information.
So I can corroborate what you picked up, but something odd is going on, but I can't pin down what.
I don't have very much experience with luminous beings. Most of the time, my anomalies are a little bit darker and scarier than you would expect.
Yoda said we're all luminous beings.
Well,
Not this crude matter.
very kind of Yoda.
Good thing Yoda is fictitious. We would have to eradicate him were he not so.
We would.
Or recruit.
No.
Well, I feel confident.
He seems wise enough that he could be shown the right path.
That is protracted deviation, though. His stature alone would... No. Sorry, but we're missing the mark there. I apologize. You all were doing some top-tier investigatory work there.
Yeah.
Well, we didn't come up with too much, unfortunately. Might be worth checking out the church. You got a lead on.
Well, I'm very happy that this time we're on the lookout for a very handsome, luminous being.
Rather than a slavering demon?
Yeah.
Nice change of pace.
I mean, does it not strike anyone as significant that we now have sightings of both the Infernal and Celestial in North Hollywood?
It absolutely does. We have a pattern.
How do they do the spectacles, testicles, wallet, watch? Yes, that. Yes.
I've been trying. I don't know. Yeah.
Is that not normal for North Hollywood?
No, it's more the Walk of Fame. Yes, it's more over the hill. Over the hill. Yes, they pay for pictures over there.
Okay.
Yeah.
He does look back around and he's like, well, I suppose there's no harm in having done some healing, whatever might come next.
Certainly not interested in undoing that at the moment, but
When you say that, the professor does sort of push the coat aside. You see the barrel of the gun. It's like, I hadn't intended to undo the healing, but I suppose it's just...
let's go ahead and leave that poor man's
Not
pancreas where it is.
Yeah, not intended on undoing, but I will heavily bury all of the donations in a brand new story, which will make lots of normal people donate. And
Oh,
that
that's
way
what-
people won't be snooping around.
Yes, so they, believe it or not, it's a good deal of my normal work, when it's not field work, is ways to help the downtrodden and less fortunate like this. What's the good of all of our technology and reason and enlightenment if we can't use it to lift the burden of the common person?
And I will definitely have been taking selfies and photo ops in this place in order to signal boost and bury this story in actual donations.
You put on the gloves for one dish out with the photo. and pick
I'm
them up.
going to serve all of these people in style.
What is
Basically.
You're both serving food and looks. I'm for it.
Serving food and looks all day long.
I make sure I stand back with the camera and take lots of pictures. And anytime a young person tries to get close to you for a picture, I'm literally like, you know?
And I'm like, no, that's the point. They're supposed to be in the picture.
Don't get it on you. Oh, yeah. And
Professor, I told you, I'm not a homeless person. Stop taking pictures of me. It's me.
Oh, you are a masterful undercover asset, Agent Requiem.
He blends well.
I'm really impressed.
Just
Okay, so you've done everything that you want to do here. We're gonna say that you've done what you can to at least make the story not look so singularly beneficial, or at least make sure that nothing miraculous from it.
No, yeah, I'm gonna say that. They mistaken this person is actually Jason Momoa. Came in and was and was a volunteer at one point, and they just didn't know, but that was him.
is Reigns capable of leaving a device that will monitor the gauntlet or let us know if there's a surge of quintessence or anything like that?
I think Requiem, you might be able to handle that. I'm not going to be able to do much with the primal mechanics, but I can leave a gauntlet monitor to alert us if something happens, or at least check in on it.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'll just leave a little piece of tech stashed somewhere that I can correspondence in dimensional science into later to check on things here.
Okay, you bug the place.
Yep,
And then you're all getting in the van and heading down to Toluca Lake?
I think so.
I walk up to the passenger side and open the door for the professor, and I say, "Would you like shotgun?"
Yes, I don't want to be that guy. I don't want a Bogart shotgun, So,
No.
Hey, if you enjoy it that much, it's all yours. Climb
and
it.
he very happily hops in again and slams the door and immediately starts fidgeting with things on the dashboard again.
Sometimes it's the simplest things. Climb into the driver's seat.
Since we are headed to a church, I will say that in my mobile wardrobe, I will put on it's the Jackie O suit, but it's all black.
Nice.
But that's my I'm ready for church look.
You leave the Valley of the Hope shelter and head east along Sherman Way, turning southbound onto Vineland. It doesn't take that long to get there as long as traffic is not being too difficult. About 2 miles south of Sherman Way is the nightclub and the Circus Liquor, and in another 1.5 miles is Riverside Drive, where you go under the freeway to the Iglesia de Fuego de Diez. The police are there. It seems like there's a surge of people urban camping there. Perhaps because the church across the street is also the beneficiary of such stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The police are on site and they're trying to disperse them, which they've been doing in the area. And you see a similar situation both outside the church and once you go in to what you saw at the shelter.
Just a lot of people.
A lot of people trying to get a little something better, and considering that this corridor and with the freeways, a lot of people they'll set up their shelters under the freeways because it gives them more coverage. So
Got it.
it's a complex, whatever. The events are kind of, there's a confluence of events there, so that you've got more people, a church, and you are actually a little bit closer to the club, but on the other side. So you're back south of the club, but you're all along the same stretch of Vineland is the road.
Interesting. Maybe take a look at the road itself. See if you can detect anything primal going on there. Any quintessential flow.
For me or someone else?
Either I think Requiem or you, Professor, could handle that.
I will let Requiem try it because I'm trying to go easy on the paradox. I will say, however, now that we have another point on the map, is there any pattern that's emerging on the map? Because we've got the center was near Porto's. We know the Circus Liquor. We have the club. Now we have homeless shelter. Now we have the church. That's 5 data points. Is there any pattern emerging?
Well, out like that, no. Portos would have to come off. That whole square over there with Magnolia and Hollywood Way, with Portos at one corner and the other door at the other, that was just to get you centered in on finding the breach. And Circus Liquor was just part of that narrowing down too. So the only pattern is really the 3 points: the club, the shelter, and the church.
If it draws a 5-pointed star, I assure you
does
I'm
not.
going right back to my lab. I am
It
leaving.
absolutely does not. But and they're not in a straight line. The fact that a road, a main road through the area, kind of connects them. You wouldn't be able to map them in a perfect line. They go dot dot dot, but they're all
On this stretcher, on this thoroughfare, though.
But there's an artery of the city that's connecting all of them. What does the technocracy call ley lines?
Yeah. Roads. Yeah. Interesting. It means theoretically they have some sort of terrestrial locomotion. They are along this stretch here.
Yeah, perhaps whatever these beings are simply following the road, but there might be something significant to it. See if there's a quintessential flow of any kind.
I would say when we like stop the van and everything, like the professor like swivels all the way around and just looks deathly serious. Because normally he's very happy-go-lucky and fidgety, like kind of talking to himself and touching things the whole time. But he just like was. You do know there is one possibility that we must, of course, mention and perhaps discuss. That if this is in fact Nephandic in origin, this could be more than just a simple incursion.
Mm-hmm. That's something that was niggling at the back of my head when we saw the hypertech in the club.
And what would that mean, storyteller, if it was Nephandic?
the Nephandi are the fallen mages. They are the mages that don't choose ascension and choose corruption. They are divided into groups that there's a bunch of subgroups, but the main three that most people think of when they think of Nephandi are, one group are infernal. Another group serve the worm. So if you know your werewolf, this is going to be the force of oblivion and corruption.
Yeah, the Nephandi are mages who serve powers of entropy.
And then there's a third group that kind of serve the dynamic aspects, and they are much more wilder. I wouldn't say that they are marauders, but they will do things like the Joker. So whereas you've got some that are doing it to bring in Cthulhu kind of things, and others that want to get the power of Satan or their equivalent. Then you've got the some that just want to watch the world burn. All of them, in a way, tend to want to see reality undone. There are also other groups that are in one of the supplements that become even more rare or kind of behind the scenes. But for the most part, what you would know of the Nephandi are going to be limited to those three.
They are our exact opposite. They're our real enemies. Like the reality deviants, you could make the argument they're just uninformed. They don't know any better. The Nephandi absolutely know better.
Okay.
They're the ones who want to stop people from awakening.
Thank you for asking that question, because I didn't know anything about that either. I was like,
Yeah, you're like, quite, yes.
Like
no,
it could be Nephandic in origin.
We were explaining that for the audience.
I actually, in the first episode, have little blocks of text above when you guys mention things like
Awesome.
Arete, Sleeper, Nephandi. So
Nice.
I am cluing in the audience as we play.
That's awesome.
Nice.
Yeah. One of my fears is that whatever was going on at the club was someone who'd been corrupted from the Union.
That would explain a lot. Not necessarily the divine luminosity, but it just could be a long con to deceive these people. It's still chaos, angels walking down the street, miraculous healings.
Depends who or what led them astray.
You
They
will
might buy
also
into all that.
recall that Lucifer, by his very origin of the name, is a light being.
Mhm.
So the package doesn't concern me.
So we're just done with phrasing, right? That's not a thing anymore?
Do we want to sort of break the script back out and see what we can figure out in the church?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you want to do this time? Want to do same run?
I mean, I'd say go with it till it stops working, right?
Sounds good.
You get into the church, and it's a similar situation that you saw up at the center. If you're going to run the same kinds of gambits, you're going to start getting similar information. The things that are different, though, are one, the people here who have seen it or felt it are not saying things as, oh, they were a pretty person, or oh, they were kind of glowy. You're now starting to get people saying outright that it was an angel, that they had a halo, that the descriptions are becoming more and more concrete, and these people are really starting to feel like they've been touched. Not just the beneficiaries of some good things. I see all the fingers going up.
I would just say, even as we're hearing this, knowing we had a demon at the infernal place, we had an angel at the shelter, we had an angel at the church, looking forward down the road, can we like extrapolate ahead where this is headed? Are there more shelters or porn stores or Church of Satan outlets or like further down the road where maybe we might have a chance to get ahead of whatever this is?
More clowns.
Yeah,
Angry
more
clowns.
Hopefully no clowns.
Dens of vice.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. But doing a vibe check on these people, is what they're saying they saw, is that what they really believe they saw?
Absolutely. And here,
Okay.
the difference that, and I'm not going to make you guys re-roll the magic on this. The mind effects that you're starting to see aren't just that people feel better or clearer of mind or have somehow worked through mental traumas. These people are starting to get militarized. They are starting to get very adamant and are feeling faith that they have not felt before. And they
Fanatic level?
they are getting a level of conviction that is starting to kind of change the landscape of what this could be.
All right.
So yeah, I think that's the main things.
Yeah, I was afraid of this. This is way past the point of seeing Jesus in toast. They're about to get the camo on. I don't like this.
Yeah, this is God is calling them to a battle.
Oh, sorry. No, please go ahead.
I was just going to say, checking the gauntlet, see if there's similar tampering here. Maybe we can get better data than we did at the last place.
Oh yeah, I'm already on it.
Good.
The gauntlet is not thinner nor thicker, but it seems to have been warped, as if something that has been here has kind of pushed it.
Can I reinforce it?
Sure, the gauntlet is high already. It's strong. You're in an urban area. It's not a node, so
More like something was here, left the equivalent of like footprints or tire tracks.
yeah. D-Dave,
Got it.
what were you going with?
Besides the fact that I do still want to see if there's a way we can extrapolate to get ahead of this, in my work, in the things I do I know any members of the Celestial Chorus? Even if we just have them like under observation or something.
We have them flagged.
Yeah, exactly. Like we might not have like tried to bring them in yet, but at least like, are we aware of any of those people around here?
Yeah, you're aware of a few.
We could attempt to talk to the reality deviants that skew towards a religious mind, but I fear we run the risk of informing them of something that would make them equally zealotous, not necessarily helpful.
Plus, once you start trying to go across the wall, that's really not my area, but I suspect the brass might start getting real nervous.
It's ultimately, we are trying to lead all into enlightenment. On occasion, you have to extend a hand before balling it into a fist, you know?
Of course. Just saying,
Yeah,
they already bumped our boss for reevaluation, so tread carefully.
I'm just gonna say, you know how you have your thing with the young ones? I'm not a big fan of the churchy celestial choir.
Oh no,
Nice.
then you do not want to meet any members of the Celestial Chorus.
Not that I, won't do my job. I just rather not.
I understand.
My cup of tea.
Perhaps we would meet a young member of the Celestial Chorus we could hate equally.
That works. Actually, I'm okay with that.
Building bridges, people. Does anyone have proficiency with? God, I don't know. Does the Technocracy call entropy, or probability mechanics?
I think it is.
Yeah. Looking at patterns and.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anybody have skill with that?
I do. Yeah.
Can you see if there's any significant probabilistic link between these locations and maybe anything beyond just being on the same road?
Yeah.
I'm saying, hey, you run a stats analysis on this, see if there's more that's worth digging into.
So yes, if I'm running diagnostics on probability here, given the geolocation and given the probability of this thing happening in and of itself, what am I looking at?
That's a entropy 2, because you're sensing the kind of the flow of fate and that kind of thing. That's going to be a difficulty 5 with your arete roll. You're going to be running it through one of your algorithms, probably the same kind of one you ran in the basement of the nightclub.
Okay.
I'd just say as an aside while she's doing this entire time, I've been clicking around trying to find a chart that I looked at last time and I couldn't find. Also in my notes, I had all of these numbers that didn't make any sense. I'm like, what is Past Dave trying to tell me? Those numbers are the page numbers of all the things that I've been looking for this entire time. He tried to tell me. Normally, Past Dave is my staunch enemy and the source of all my problems, but this one time, he did try to help.
What you got, Nora?
Two
successes to determine the probability of fate and fortune on these locations. You run the locations that you've been in through here and the information that you know. The probability that the person that you saw the night of the breach at the Circus Liquor drove up Vineland. It may have been that individual.
Interesting.
The locations for the probability of the locations themselves seems to be fairly coincidental, other than the fact that they're within a radius that this individual was probably familiar with. So it's not that it's in a line or that there's a ley line or anything like that. It's probably that this person lives and or works in this area.
Okay. Now, using that information, would I be able to tell where they might next appear?
Yeah, you can try that.
The other thing I can try is I can try an all space search. Or we might be able to do it together. Do you have correspondence 3?
No,
Just 2. Okay. Correspondence 3 you can use to find something anywhere, even if you don't know where it is.
That would have been helpful.
Needed to know to look for it. We didn't know he was that important yet.
But just trying to find out what was the difficulty?
So you're doing a similar thing, but you're bringing in your correspondence because now you're trying to tie location to it. So it's still going to be a difficulty 5.
Okay, that is 2 successes.
As you're starting to process the data, you are broken from your concentration and analysis by an altercation outside.
Ooh.
You can hear the police coming over their megaphones.
Please disperse.
And you hear individuals yelling and wanting to cross the street, and they're kind of outside of the doors.
Can anybody get a good look?
Yeah, are they trying to get into the church, out of the church, like disperse from where?
The police are trying to break up all of the homeless individuals in the area, but they are searching the church to get goodies.
Oh boy.
I suppose we should probably attempt to intervene, yes.
How many people are we talking about, roughly?
Probably 40 people.
Whoa.
If you've seen any of the homeless encampments here, they can get very large.
All right. Do we want to try and keep those people out of the church? Because this looks like it might get ugly.
Yes, no matter how beneficial this might seem, reality deviation is still reality deviation, and we can't have an army of people believing they've seen an angel.
All right.
What are you all going to do?
Yeah.
I have.
Damn,
what's
I
our-
wish I had a nun outfit.
I mean, girl, same.
What's our priority?
None
I'm gonna try and-
credentials.
It's just a ruler.
None. It says so right here.
And Nora, I did not forget about your role, but we'll come back to it.
Okay.
I have no interest in hurting innocent people, but I am not unskilled with fisticuffs.
Not at all. Seems like, do we want to try and talk down the crowd and make sure that they can't get into the church? Because things might get ugly then.
I will try and talk down the crowd.
All right. I'll see if I can get inside, maybe around the back, and at least reinforce things and keep them from breaking in. Because it looks like they might be pushing that way.
I will stay with Belladonna. Should they push their way past the constabulary, I shall be prepared.
Yeah, I'll go with reins.
All right. Let's do it.
Okay, so the two in the back are going to make sure that the church isn't breached. Belladonna and the professor are moving to the front to do some level of influence. Okay, how are you going to do it? The police are starting to set up a barricade, and
Right.
people are trying to push past them.
And these people are trying to push past them because they have a religious belief that they need to militarize because
No,
God
you
told
are
them?
you are getting the sense that these people are want to benefit from what the others are getting.
This is greed.
This is either greed or
Oh,
desperation.
Desperation.
they want the good stuff.
They want the good stuff because they've moved into the area and they want it too. And they need it. And the police are trying to stop them from
Okay.
either queuing up or whatever. But the
I'm going to go full on speech mode to the crowd.
What are you going to do? Just speak out to them? Are you going to grab a megaphone from a cop? What are you...
Oh, yeah. Oh, definitely grab a megaphone from a cop. Just
God.
shove him aside. I'm like, I'll pay for it. Grab a megaphone. Totally turn on the charm. So I definitely want to use influence over this crowd. And just say,
People, I know that times are tough. I know that you see people gaining benefits, and I promise you, we citywide are working towards getting everybody aid as soon as possible, but this isn't the way to do it. We all need to just calm down and just rest assured that we can all do this in an orderly manner. We are all here for you.
Mind 3. So we're going to go difficulty 6.
we got one success.
One success does convince the police, but nothing seems to get through to the people.
Can I burn a willpower?
You can burn a willpower.
There we go. 2 successes.
But it still
Does that
doesn't
help?
change things.
Okay.
And you get the feeling that there's a resistance there.
I
Working
just
against some influence.
still into the megaphone. I'm just like,
Okay.
What are the void engineers doing?
All right, so my plan is to try and get into the church, maybe even through a window or through a back door, something like that, to get around up to the front and try and reinforce it and maybe barricade it from the inside to stop these people if they're gonna like riot up and try
I was
to
already
bust in.
assuming that you guys had gone in to kind
Okay,
of
great.
move things forward. So you guys,
Perfect.
You guys are already inside.
Okay, so then the plan is pull the front doors shut, lock them if there is the capability to lock them, and then pull out of my kit bag some devices that I use to shore up barricades when I'm in my normal work environment and start affixing them to the door. The plan is to use matter magic to reinforce the door and basically make it unbreakable by people pounding on it.
Ah, well done. Okay, go ahead and do, let's see. It's going to be a
So that would, it's matter 3 probably,
matter
right?
3.
Okay. Hopefully still coincidental, but we'll see.
Yeah, we'll say that we're just going to make sure that they didn't use a hollow core door and that the hinges are good and that kind of stuff.
And there's a little metal kind of thing shoots down into the ground to kind of block it. Yeah. All right. 2 successes.
Okay, that's good. Back out front. B. Dave, what would the professor be doing?
Seeing that this isn't working,
The cops are trying to de-escalate. That's the one thing that you notice is working.
so point of clarification. I have a number of ranks in secret weapons. Would it be reasonable to say that I have some sort of non-lethal sonic weapon with me? Because I got 5 ranks in secret weapons and 5 ranks in requisitions. So if it exists, I can get it.
Yeah, we can do something like a Forces 2 kind of level
Yeah.
sonic weapon.
I look at Belladonna and I say, you familiar with some recent innovations in acoustic technology? Totally non-lethal, but you can cause muscular tremors. You can just shut a person down completely at a distance.
yeah, I have. I've never used one.
Well, is it your lucky day? And I just
Oh, wait,
opens
no.
up his lamp coat, pulls out this tube, and is like, "Here we go!" And I hit the crowd with a non-lethal acoustic burst.
All right, let's
The weapon is expressly designed to incapacitate but not kill.
okay. Let's consider this a wonder. We'll give it like an Aerotave 3, and it'll be working with like a Forces 2. Actually, Aerotave 4, Forces 2. So go ahead and give me 4 dice.
Good thing I checked this one out.
Unless you know of one specifically.
Not off the top of my head.
All right.
Yeah. The joy of all of this is I could create one. That is 3 successes.
That's good, because if you had botched, I probably was going to brown note it.
Not today, storyteller. Not today. Yeah.
The frequencies start to go out. You can hear the hum and feel the hum, the resonance of it. You see the certain people kind of dropping to their knees and starting to scramble. And then you get overwhelming feeling of being judged. Justice, what are you doing?
Mother?
Yeah, so I would feel like I would have Batmaned up into the rafters of this church. And I was thinking about doing some sort of illusion, but I don't think that it would help to de-escalate things to further the idea that they are seeing something angelic. So I think that what I would like to do is...
And inside is mostly okay. This is all happening outside.
Okay. I think I would like to infuse my blaster with some sort of stun. object, and and can I silence it and begin to just make some of them just go to sleep?
What level of forces do you have?
I have forces too.
Yeah, that would be enough.
Yeah, so I guess what I would like to do is get up into a window and just start.
You wouldn't be able to make them go to sleep. That would require mind or life. But you can do a similar effect to what B-Dave had just done.
Okay.
To help disperse using non-lethal.
Yeah. That would be my preference.
So you're going you're in the rafters, you go to like a stained glass or a window arrangements that you can see outside, and you're aiming out through there like some sort of ninja sniper person, yeah?
Yeah. Probably putting some sort of thing on the end of my standard blaster to make it non-lethal.
Okay, give me an Arete 3 roll.
Okay.
Trying to keep this snappy for timing.
Okay, that is 2 successes.
Okay, and you are able to also start clearing out a swath of the individuals, and the crowd starts to disperse. And then you also feel this intense form of judgment and almost, I wouldn't say hatred, but disappointment. The crowd disperses. The police kind of stay there for a bit. You're able to go down, and the group can rejoin either inside or outside.
Yeah. Once the crowd disperses and the potential of riot seems to be past, I'll disengage those reinforcements and tuck them away. And end the matter effect so the doors can open.
Okay.
Did we detect anything magical like we tried in the shelter? Do we see that anywhere in the church?
We haven't looked yet, or we hand waved it and found the same stuff, right?
Yes.
Okay.
We hand waved it and said things were similar, and then I gave you the few exceptions.
Gotcha. Okay.
Everybody all
I didn't
right?
know if the wafers or whatever were
No, but your algorithm completes Your algorithm completes its assessment, and the determination seems to be an error, because it's showing that the next place that this individual will be is here.
Huh. Well, that's odd. Based on my algorithms of where he might where he will most likely be next, it's here. That doesn't make sense.
When she says that, remember, I saw the guy. I looked back in time and I saw him leave Circus Liquor.
And at that point, he was just a regular man.
Do I see that guy anywhere?
No, that individual's not here.
Do we see any of the people while dispersing that seemed unfazed by the weapon, that seemed like they're leaving, but like they're just kind of leaving with like their head held high a bit more?
Everyone dispersed. Justice's weapon did a similar amount to the individual's as yours. It's kind of hard to determine which ones, unless you're doing something to know. Obviously, not everyone was affected by the sonic weapons, but it's kind of hard to tell through the chaos of which ones weren't affected by your weapon and which ones weren't affected by his weapon and which ones are the...
I kind of put my hand on my earpiece and I say, Rains, according to Belladonna's assessment, the individual in question, the RD we're after, is supposed to be here at the church. Is there anyone else inside with you?
I will take a quick look around.
They were trying to get into the church.
You see the normal workers and people of the church, but you don't see anything.
Nobody matching the description of the fellow from the liquor store. Okay. No contact in here.
But if he appeared differently to other people, who's to say he's not going to appear differently to us?
Yes.
Very possible.
But surely we would be able to detect them at least.
What if they're not here yet?
Right. Well, that'll save us a satellite search. We can just stake this place out and wait for him then.
Yeah, get steak takeout for a stakeout.
I'm in.
You see, the professor just sort of rubs his temples and he goes, "No, I shall take a peek." That's right. Like, just kind of out in front of this, I'm like, nosebleeds are fun.
Poor professor.
And I just try and look ahead into the next. I'll go into the church inside the sanctuary.
Okay.
And look ahead if I see anything strange inside the church in the near future. That is one success, but that still should be enough for because I think even one is like a week or something stupid. So I just need to look like a day. Do we have a climactic battle here in the next day or so?
You do not have a climactic battle. You do not necessarily see yourselves there, nor do you see a being of this sort within the church.
See, pulls out a handkerchief and sort of like dabs it at his nose like it is starting to bleed slightly. And he's like, I don't think we need to remain here. Nothing happens in the next little while.
Okay, but he's definitely not here now though, right?
That's right.
Perhaps.
And that brings you up to 5 levels of paradox, B-Dave?
I don't know, does it?
Yes, it does.
And is that shared with the group or just B-Dave?
No, that's just B-Dave.
No, he's been stretching the band.
Yep.
He knows it only stretches so far.
You get 2 bashing, and you're down to 3.
You see, he's like, and like literally like falls backwards and pulls the handkerchief away, and it is like covered in blood. He's like,
Shit. All right.
Yes, it's reality only can be stretched so far, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every time I think I've got a better handle on that, and yet.
Time doesn't like being screwed with, huh?
Maybe go easy on that for a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't particularly enjoy it myself, but we're on a mission, you know. We're on a mission.
I appreciate your dedication, but I'm a little concerned.
Yes, I probably we'll say only in an emergency. Let's.
Okay.
All right, so we have a little bit of a conflicting data. Belladonna, your calculations say he's going to show up here next, whatever that means. But Professor, you looked ahead a decent bit and didn't see him.
Correct.
So
Perhaps he was already here with the mob and departed.
it's possible. I'm liking the idea that who or whatever it is changes appearance to match whatever their viewers or whoever they're interacting with expects. Because we've gotten different descriptions from everyone we've talked to. Do you think it's worth trying to run a recognition search to see if I can track this guy down?
I can give as good a description as I can of what I saw.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Because we even had the car and we had the license plate. I did see that. Or no, I
never got
didn't
the
get the
plate.
license plate,
Didn't get the plate.
but I got the car.
Did get the car.
Things were a little too timey-wimey warpy.
A little too grainy.
Happens.
And it was dark, so you would have needed forces and some other stuff to be able to see it in the dark.
Yeah.
Oh, what kind of car does an angelic being drive?
You do remember it was just a sedan.
Yeah.
A sedan, apparently.
Nice and reliable. So I can attempt to track where he is right now.
Please do.
All right.
I hate playing catch up.
I'll need to head back to the van. All right, so I'll take the data that the professor got of of the fellow from the security camera footage, I guess, is what we sort of backtraced and looked at, and see if I can do a correspondence 3 all space search using satellite imagery.
Hey, technology.
I've also got a thing when you're done doing your thing.
So, is this the sort of thing that might be better to do as an extended task, or is one roll? It's been a long time since I've messed with correspondence.
Let me look at degrees of success.
Because
Darren, one of these things we've got, there is a chart, and it just kind of has like a 1-line description of almost everything the spheres can do. And I have been looking for the past 2.5 hours, and I cannot find it.
What do you mean? Like the
No, it literally is just like a. It's just like a
Page 508. Common magical effects?
Common magical effects. Yeah.
That's the one. Thank you.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
Or this lovely book. Brought to you by
Well, I have that book. But the chart I'm talking about is not in that book. It is this one on 508, though.
Okay.
Nice.
Although I did read up on a bunch of the violence I can inflict hand to hand with my life abilities from how do you do that? So yes, good.
Okay.
Nice.
Dan, so you've got yours. We're kind of playing really light with the magic rules just for purposes of, the production. So let's just go for
one and done.
Well, let's say you need 4 successes. If you don't get them in the first because you didn't explode, then you can take 2.
Then I can extend. Okay.
But let's say you're aiming for 4 successes.
Okay.
Magic can get pretty crunchy.
For my first one, I'm going to burn a point of willpower to get an auto success on the roll.
Okay.
Ooh. Got it in 1. 3 on the dice, 1 from the willpower.
Good. We'll come to you in a moment. Nora, what are you doing?
I just wanted to collect police body cam footage to see if we could spot anything in the crowd that was unusual.
Good call.
Okay. They're obviously not going to share that, so that's going to be...
Can we flash a badge?
Correspondence...
Requiem, flash a badge.
2, I think. Correspondence 2 for the data?
We did stand in the middle of the street and start shooting people, so hopefully
I was on the church.
We're here on business, yeah.
In front of a church, no less. Correspondence, you say?
Yeah, that's data. Correspondence 2.
Yep.
So difficulty 5.
Whatever you say.
I'm going to say that.
So I'm going to roll the 2 die.
No, you're going to roll 3 die. Always just roll your
3 die.
arete roll. Unless you're using a magic item.
All right. That is one of them is a 10. All right. So that's 2 successes.
Okay. You download the data. And then as Gabriel's information finishes crunching, you get the beep. And it's there. And as you all are looking at the results and you're looking around, you look up on the freeway, and there you see someone about 7 feet tall, all within your own race, slightly glowing, and then wings unfurl, and they streak away.
Well then.
And that's where we'll end it tonight.
Damn.
So unfair. They don't have to worry about paradox.
Yeah, well.
No.
Awesome. That was super cool.
That was
Thank you,
fun.
Michaela.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There we go. You're now in the shit.
Yeah, it's funny that in my Patreon games, when we do the World of Darkness crossover, I think I mentioned this before, I had to soft sell paradox because the mages were all handcuffed. Lower levels, at higher levels, of course, it's on. But they'd be like, I want him to trip and hit his head on the fire extinguisher. And the werewolves are like, I turn into a werewolf and also my claws grow into rainbow unicorn horns because fuck you. And I attack. And I'm like, all right, okay, yeah. So like what one of them had a gift that like sets people on fire. And the mage really did jump to these elaborate hoops of like, you know, the popcorn, the popcorn machine overheats and throws the hot grease on him. And he's like, I set him on fire. Like, just like,
Yeah.
just do it, you know? And I'm like, paradox is unfair.
So,
Static magic.
you guys have mostly been able to, for purposes of the plot, deal mostly with sensory and minor manipulations. You guys should be ready next time. And also for when and ever we get to do the finale game, to unleash as much as you need to. So
Go loud.
you'll definitely will be able.
All my
You'll
weapons.
definitely be able to go loud for the finale.
Good afternoon, Agent. What's the operation status report?
The original dispatched mission was India Golf 29er Alpha from the Void Engineer construct at JPL to detect a gauntlet breach. This led an amalgam to Special Projects Division Asset 87 Bravo Charlie 3, a nightclub called Paradise Lost. They submitted data that raised flags, so we began active monitoring, cleanup, and control.
Sounds good. What's the nature of the asset?
We're not sure. There's no data on reality deviation. There's a high probability of Pentex affiliation via alcohol partnership with King Breweries, one of their subsidiaries. A self-empowerment group has a possible connection to Moru Raven Press, which we've tried to shut down before. Recovered special projects data has indicated that there are gauntlet reinforcement protocols in place, as well as crowd control and manipulation measures. To what end, we don't know. There's no data on the original operatives there or the controlling entities.
Okay, that's to be expected. And the status of the cleanup?
The amalgam submissions have been intercepted and scrubbed, although Agent Requiem is still in possession of a data drive. They reported faulty gauntlet protocols that were replaced, but we don't know by who, and the root cause for the breach was never absolutely determined. Their manager, Alex Jacobian, was processed and reassigned. One of our own, Emily Burr, was assigned to watch them. She reassigned them and ordered them away from the asset. Risk assessment is being done to determine if we should catalog and dispose of the club.
Excellent work. Anything else?
Our operative responsible for monitoring the amalgam had her system compromised.
What? Excuse me? How did they find out? She was supposed to be discreet.
It wasn't them, although Agent Nightshade has the potential skills. Her remote feed using high-definition procedures was intercepted by an outside entity and apparently reversed. We've processed her for her own protection. Her system has been examined for any additional breach of data or corruption, and we're running additional scans.
Great. What do you think they got from us? Do we have a list of suspects? Anything identifying them?
Not sure. If they ran her credentials fast enough, they would know she's syndicate. They may have gotten information on the asset and our involvement. Could be Project Invictus, the Friends of Courage, the Cassandras, Virtual Adepts, or even the Disparate Alliance.
Fuck, even in the future, nothing works. Okay, that's your short list, and this operation is still in place. They got through the firewall and subverted the encryption patterns. This whole place is compromised, and we don't know if they dropped a payload. It needs to be burned to the ground.
I'll get right on that.
What's the... Is that recording?